Back to the explanation of Oblivion Part 2. This video is dedicated to the Shadow Brony for his recent hardships and difficulties he's been having. I would suggest you subscribe to him. He's a good music maker. He does some pretty cool remixes and stuff. But he does do his own songs. He's made a few for me. He's made like 3 for me, even though I asked for 1. He's a really generous guy. Go subscribe and like to him. He is awesome. Anywho, let's get to the actual part of the video. This is basically me explaining the second part of Oblivion. I believe I mentioned in the last video there are 13 of him. Like, he's split into 13 parts. Well, 14 if you would include me or the mortal. Only born once in a universal regeneration, like a universe, and then like if it, like say if I die, he can't get the chance to get out or anything. Although all the others are at large, Oblivion is really the only one that's sealed up. The reason for that is because of how much power he possesses. That, and he's the Lord of Frickin' Evil. I would say another part about him is that I believe I gave you a description last time. I haven't shown you any of the pictures I've drawn, 1 because I'm in Maryland right now, and 2 because they're actually back at my home. So, maybe next video I'll show you guys the drawings I've made of Oblivion, his castle and stuff like that, the dimension, the abyss, and all of that. So, let's get down to explaining the other part. Last time I did tell you what he looked like. I told you the basics of him. Now, to get into the complicated stuff. What took me 4 years to develop this character is, he was originally a guy named Nekrai. Then it went to Zionai, Kai, Kudanai, then Zention, and then it escalated to Sekron, then Necrosis. Necrosis has an interesting name. He is death, but necrosis means decay of flesh and tissue. The reason I named him this is because he has an ability whenever you're like within 20 feet of him, your body flesh will start decaying, kind of like a zombie. So like your flesh will just start peeling off, and like your skin, for example, like when you have dead skin, it will start peeling off, then that layer will peel off and eventually get to the muscles and tissues and stuff, and that'll just rot away. And it happens really fast instead of like over months after you die. And after necrosis, there's a guy called Zenkanai, the Vampire Lord. I made him look like a vampire. He's got like, if you ever watch Naruto, like the first one of the senseis have like his head bend over one eye because that is like the copycat eye or something. And but he has a headband over his left eye, and his right eye is basically human but as a snake, like it's a snake eye. But instead of the curve being like, instead of just being curved in the eye, it kind of points to the left eye. It's like straight down, kind of like a cat eye slit. And like all the others, he does have red eyes. Sorry, I just woke up. It's like 7 in the morning. So Kudanai, Kari. Then we get to the Overlord. The Overlord is someone I created. He's like the guy before Oblivion, so he was the last part of him. He has 4 arms. He's 10 feet tall, when Oblivion's like 12. He's 10 feet tall. He wears a helmet. If you've ever seen Sauron in The Lord of the Rings, he basically wears an enlarged armor of that. Instead of his weapon being a mace, it's like 4 long swords. And yeah. So then it goes to Oblivion. And I have told you what kind of weapon. I don't think I told you the weapon he uses. He uses a greatsword, an ultra greatsword. It is 9 feet long, weighs 2,000 pounds, weighs 2,000 pounds, or if I were to forge it in real life, probably like 100 to 200. His armor, since like only he can wear it, it weighs like, if you were to actually make it in real life, I guess it would weigh, like the whole set would weigh maybe 100 pounds. So, now to get onto his weapon, Abyssal Nightmare. Abyssal Nightmare is the ultra great sword he uses. He doesn't use a shield or anything. Now, you would assume if he were to use Abyssal Nightmare, he'd be really slow. That is wrong. He moves extremely fast with this greatsword. So like he moves like, basically if you can move a katana around really fast, or a short sword, that's basically how he uses it, even though it's weighing like 2,000 pounds. Say if another immortal picks it up, it will eventually like decay their soul and like eventually kill them within 50 minutes. Mortals, depends on the mortal, say like the 14th, which in this case, in like the story, it's me. I can wield it just fine because I'm one of his other halves. And a crucial one too. So, let's get on to the backstory of Oblivion. I've explained his armor set and his ultra great sword. Backstory. If I didn't tell this before, you get to hear it again. If you didn't see the last video, which I recommend hearing if you want to hear like the whole story of him. Oblivion was not always named that. Before he was Oblivion, he was Eric, brother of God. He's still the brother of God, and like I'm sure all religions have like some like ultimate, all-powerful, good God, and the all-powerful like Satan or bad God. So I'm sure like almost all religions have one, except if you're an atheist. That also means you have like a mad science, like an extremely powerful dictator against the USA. We'll put it that way. So like Hitler against US. I'm sorry if any of you got offended by me mentioning that horrible person. That he's just awful. Like, but, backstory. So, like, the universal creation, like, if you're an atheist, you can discard this as an amusing story. But if you're, like, faithful, this actually might be interesting, because it could be true. I mean, like, who created evil? Like, I don't think God would take that role, but he may have had someone else with him, so this will be him. I'm not sure that's his actual name, but it could be him. Basically, after the universe was created, after God and Oblivion, finished it, one of them had to take the role of evil. Out of pity for his brother, Oblivion, or Eric, took the role of Lord of Evil, like sacrificing himself so his brother didn't have to suffer the horrible consequences / pain that came along with the job. Oblivion, before he was Oblivion, was very forgiving, very accepting. He was basically like Jesus. If you're Christian, you know what that's like. Jewish, probably. But if you don't read the Bible, then you probably don't know what he's like. But he's very accepting, very loving, and he'll protect anyone. Stranger or not, he'll protect them. But after the first year, all of that was gone. The pain and suffering that came with that job was 10 trillion times worse than hell. It was unbearable. But after countless years, he got used to it. Doesn't affect him anymore. I'm gonna end the video here. Part 3 will come out soon. You guys hang in there, and I'll see you later.